This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
The best sporting talent living with a disability in Africa is gearing up to shine at the forthcoming Tokyo 2020 Summer Paralympics from the 25th of August to the 6th of September. On tonight's Sports Scene, we take a look at how parasport athletes around the continent are preparing for the main event in Japan. Hello and a very warm welcome to your home for African sports features, news and views. This is Sports Scene here on CGTN. I'm Mahia Mutua in Nairobi. Great to have you joining us once again. Let's check out what else is coming up on tonight's show. We tell you how Nigeria is dealing with the growing problem of fake football scouts. And former South Africa Springboks winger Tonderai Chavanga in Kenya for Bubesi Pride Foundation Rugby Clinics. Welcome to the show. Now, the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics may be 7 months away, but in Ghana, the national paracycling team is already gearing up for the competition. Having returned home from London 2012 and Rio 2016 without a medal, they're now determined to make the podium. CGTN's Nabil Ahmed Rufai reports from Accra.
Sport has always been part of Frederick Assau's life, even before he lost his sight 25 years ago. In 2011, he joined Ghana's national Paralympic team and has since been training hard to improve his cycling skills. He is the first among his teammates to qualify for the Tokyo Paralympics.
I need to win a medal for Ghana, but all that has to come from the nation. I have to train and train hard, get the best equipment, and I promise I'll get a medal for the country.
Assau says qualifying for Tokyo Paralympics hasn't been a walk in the park. Ghana's national paracycling team, the Wheels of Fire, lacks proper infrastructure for training. They hit the road for their cycling sessions because the country does not have an arena for track cycling.
The bicycle that we are using here is not the one that we should use, but we don't have it. Because of that, we are forcing ourselves to do something because we know that when we go for these games, we will raise the flag of Ghana.
Despite this, the team hopes to qualify for the Tokyo Paralympics in August.
The next main target for the national paracycling team is the UCI Para World Track Championship in Canada. With qualification points up for grabs for the Tokyo Olympics, the event will give this team a chance to test themselves against the best.
The country is presenting a 10-member team to participate in the championship in Canada in January. The National Paralympic Committee says it is working to address the issue of limited funding for Paralympic sport by supporting athletes compete internationally.
We're giving 6 slots, all the African cycling to compete for. And now, looking at what is happening, when we are able to go to this competition, which we are the only African country in this event, I believe we are going to take all the 6 slots. Not maybe minimum, I will give you 4.
While the rest of the national paracycling team prepare for the championship, Frederick Assau is now focusing his training leading up to the Tokyo Paralympics. He hopes to make a good showing at his first appearance on the international stage. Nabil Ahmed Rufai, CGTN, Accra, Ghana.
Well, we turn to Kenya now, where the country is keen on clinching medals at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics later this year from the less-known para-rowing. CGTN's Mohammed Abubakar visited the para-rowers training camp in the coastal city of Mombasa and prepared the following story.
Kenya, a country famed for track and field excellence, has already secured a para-rowing slot at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics. Asia Mohammed already punched her ticket in Tunisia, and now it is up to teammate Miriam Amakobe to fight for a spot at the forthcoming qualification event.
We have a lot of challenges, which it should not make me not to qualify. I'll just have to try my best and in any way to qualify. And I know I will make it.
Miriam is one of the pioneers in women's para-rowing in Kenya, with over a decade's experience in the sport. And despite all the challenges, she has learned to remain positive.
For us persons with disabilities, we have problem with the place where we are training. On our way to go to the boats, the place is not disabled friendly. So it makes us, most of us, they feel it is not, even if they want to train, they want to come for training, they feel it is not friendly for them, especially those who are using crutches and wheelchair. Like me, at least, there are some ways I can use. They can even carry me and get me into water, and I continue.
Miriam's coach and standing training partner highlights the hurdles they have faced and the determination it takes to overcome them.
It is a challenge to train para-rowing because the issue of maybe taking the boat is so tedious, and then the issue of communication. You have to know her or him, otherwise you may not be together.
The period that we've trained together, the sessions have been great, and Miriam is very much okay when it comes to physical fitness. She knows what she does, and the sessions in the water, they are normally smooth because she listens a lot and do what she has been told.
With just over 6 months left to the Paralympics, Miriam is targeting gold in Japan and is focused on doing what it takes to realize her dream.
I need to volunteer, to sacrifice myself so that I train hard for me to qualify, because my qualification, it is not in Africa, because we are in different categories. Mine is in Europe, and you know, Europe, they have facilities. Those guys, they train so hard.
As the team wraps up another day of training, their goal is clear as the May Paralympics qualifiers in Italy is fast approaching. For Miriam and her coach Kandagor, the mission is now to paddle their way to Japan. Mohamed Abubakar, CGTN.
Now, Egypt has hosted a successful first ever Pan-African Special Olympics where 800 athletes from 42 countries gathered in Cairo. The event was yet another breakthrough for athletes living with a disability on the continent. Here is CGTN's Adel Makhroui with more.
Egypt has wide opened its best sports facilities to give birth to a new African event, the first Pan-African Special Olympic Games. It's a collaboration between two Special Olympic regions, Africa and the MENA region.
I believe in the Middle East, North Africa, we already conducted 9 regional games. But for Africa and Central Africa, this is the first for them and the 10th for the MENA region. So I believe it will be a good start to have Special Olympics regional games in Africa starting from the year 2022 based on the success of these games.
This event aimed to test the willingness of African nations to engage in special sports competitions. The continent stunned the world. 800 athletes from 42 nations participated in the event.
This is the only sport which is giving opportunity to athletes with special needs, especially those with intellectual disabilities who have been sidelined and discriminated for a long time. We need more because, for example, each and every country, they have brought only 5 athletes. Maybe we bring more, and these competitions should be really coming in every 2 years because some of the athletes are left out because of the resources.
This event is 100% successful. I thank our Egyptian brothers for hosting it. I thank them for this initiative to organize the first African event. It's not easy to bring this many African countries. Special Olympics athletes need special care and services, so this is definitely not an easy task to pull off.
After this first Pan-African Games, the Special Olympics global governing body will analyze the potential. It is hoping this could be a biennial continental event, a step that would enrich sports for people with disabilities.
People can see what Special Olympics can do in order to empower people with intellectual disabilities. We need to expose this population more and more because they are citizens. They also have the rights. So it's up to us to use the available.
Indeed, we have many of our athletes who are coaches and trainers also for some of our athletes who have progressed to that level. So we constantly want the athletes not just to be participants but to be leaders and to teach the rest of the world what it means to build an inclusive society.
With half of the participants women, Egyptian organizers say they are proud the event is empowering women as well as Special Olympic athletes.
42 countries have participated in this first of its kind event. That's way more nations than many professional sports events in the continent. And it's a kind of a proof of how much Africa wants to develop sports for people with disabilities. Adel Mahroui, CGTN, Cairo.
You're watching Sports Scene here on CGTN. It's time for us to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. Here's what's coming up. We'll be looking into how Nigeria is dealing with the growing problem of fake football scouts.
How would you create your legend? On the fields, on the tracks, in the arenas of Africa. Were you born to be a player? Could this moment be yours? Sports Scene. Find your game.
Welcome back. Let's turn to West Africa now, where Nigeria is dealing with a growing problem of fake football scouts taking advantage of the country's up-and-coming footballers. Many of the young victims have lost possessions and more in pursuit of a career abroad. Experts are now calling on the government to protect young and vulnerable football stars from becoming victims. CGTN's Phil Ihaza has more.
It's a usual early morning drill for Chidozie Ukwonu at this local football training turf in Abuja. Chidozie says he's trying to revive his football dreams again after losing his money to a fake football agent 2 years ago.
A man identified himself as an agent came to our club where he told us that he was going to take some of us to abroad for trials, and we paid a sum of $2,000, which was very hard for us to actually get because my parents had to borrow with a huge amount of interest that we paid, and we sold some things also to raise that money. Then afterwards he disappeared and we never saw him again.
At this academy on the outskirts of Abuja, Chidozie trains with other young stars in the hope of getting a real opportunity of traveling abroad.
Playing in a big club and a more advanced league abroad is something most young talents here dream of. But sadly, they're exposed to the risk of being conned by fake football scouts who lure them with false promises of fame and fortune.
A report on Quartz Africa states that more than 15,000 youngsters are trafficked from Africa into Europe every year with false hopes of making it as professional footballers. Nigeria is the biggest exporter of football players in Africa and 10th in the world as ranked by the International Center for Sport Studies. John Wakil, manager of Wako Football Academy, says the haste to travel abroad has left many people falling victim to fake agents who many times leave young players stranded and have their dreams dashed.
Everybody wants to make money quick through football. And again, if you watch out the parents of the children, everybody is eager for his son to go out to abroad to bring a lot of money to the family. So, through that, fake agents use that opportunity to now dupe so many parents.
Nigeria government says it's doing its best to hunt down the imposters. In March last year, the government charged a fake football agent for a $9,000 fraud at a federal court in Abuja. The suspect is still awaiting trial. However, football pundits say the government needs to do more.
I will advise government to have a seminar in the grassroots management, especially the coaches, the team managers, in order to know how to deal with these fake agents, let's say once in a month. And any victim, let's say a player that is victim, I want the government to come out and assist us on how to get through that very fake agent, to bring him out to book. I think when the others, when they see, say, one is prosecuted, others will sit well. That thing will not continue.
Until tighter rules are introduced and enforced by the government, football prodigies like Chidozie can only hope to be guided by reputable academies against scammers looking to prey on their football dreams. Phil Ihaza, CGTN, Abuja.
Now heading north, Tunisia's coastal city of Sousse recently hosted the Tunisia-China International Wushu Kung Fu Tournament. Professional athletes, Chinese martial arts specialists, coaches and technicians took part in the week-long training of China and Tunisia's national teams. CGTN's Adnan Shawashi with more.
Following 2 days of intense training under the supervision of Chinese masters, many Tunisian Wushu Kung Fu talents were discovered.
This is really a good opportunity to be here because China and Tunisia are very distant. This time, we come here to promote Chinese Wushu in friendly competitions. This event increases friendship between Chinese and Tunisian people.
The Tunisian team has reached the top African level. We rely on our Chinese friends to prepare our athletes for the international level.
Tunisian and Chinese athletes have competed in the International Wushu Kung Fu Tournament under the supervision of referees from both countries.
From this competition, I've noticed the good level of Tunisian adversaries. They have good skills. I hope that similar tournaments will take place in future to improve our level together.
We're impressed by the enthusiasm of the Tunisian public towards Wushu. Hundreds of athletes are present at this event, which strengthens the friendship ties between the Chinese and the Tunisian people.
The Chinese ambassador to Tunisia attended the sporting event and awarded the winners the trophies.
We are impressed by the enthusiasm of the Tunisian public towards Wushu. Hundreds of athletes are present at this event, which strengthens the friendship ties between Chinese and Tunisian people.
The head of the Chinese delegation declared that Wushu Kung Fu will make its debut as an official sport at the 2022 Dakar Youth Olympic Games. This decision was announced by the International Olympic Committee, confirmed at last week's executive board meeting. China's endeavor to get Wushu recognized as an official Olympic event accelerates the internationalization of this traditional sport. This fascinating martial art has become popular in Tunisia. In fact, hundreds of clubs have opened and thousands of athletes are practicing this sport in the North African country. Adnan Shawashi, CGTN, Tunis.
Well, we're taking another short break. Here's what's still to come on the program. Former Springboks winger Tonderai Chavanga in Kenya for Bubesi Pride Foundation Rugby Clinics.
Images may appear to be identical, but looks can be deceiving. The difference is not always obvious. It has to be discovered. There are always different sides to a story. We put the focus on the details. To see more, to understand better. CGTN. See the difference.
Former South Africa Springboks winger Tonderai Chavanga was among the coaches who visited Kenya this week as part of Bubesi Pride Foundation Rugby Clinics. Chavanga, who is now Zimbabwe's assistant coach, is part of the United Kingdom-based Charity Foundation's 2020 tour that kicked off in Nairobi. CGTN's Mohammed Abubakar tells us more.
The Bubesi Pride Foundation's 2020 coaching clinic tour has started in Kenya. The foundation, in conjunction with local partners, aims at giving children a chance to play rugby, compete, and most importantly, develop life skills. Beneficiaries of the Kenya visit were from 3 schools in Githogoro village, just outside Nairobi city.
Almost all coaches and volunteers from all over the globe, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Germany, all over the globe. And all of us are united in the sport and in using our experience in rugby to help the children here who we have seen gain a great deal from the sport and from our involvement and from meeting children from other schools.
Bubesi has brought a wide variety of international rugby coaches at this year's clinic, most notably former Springboks winger Tonderai Chevanga. The former South Africa international boasts a wealth of experience both on and off the pitch and is now Zimbabwe's assistant coach.
It's awesome just being here, being able to impart the little bit of experience and knowledge that I've gained over the years playing rugby. And as you can see, the kids are hell of energetic, very keen to learn, and I can certainly say that Kenya's got a lot of talent.
Rugby has a huge following in Kenya, and the international exposure, particularly in the HSBC World 7 Series, has inspired many youth to take up the sport.
When I grow up, I dream of becoming a player like Collins Injera from Kenya. I like him a lot because of his style of play, his steps and his lightning speed.
My favorite player is Kenya's 7th captain, Andrew Omonde, because whenever he plays, Kenya rarely loses a match. Whenever I watch him play, I see how brave and courageous he is. You just know Kenya will win that match.
We have to concentrate on the young children because they look up to us, and also to the current senior players like Collins Injera. For instance, here in Gedogoro village, we have Amon Wamalo who plays for the Kenya under-20 team. We also have Victor Ayiru who plays for the under-18 team, together with Malvin Nganga. So for them seeing that, it motivates them, it inspires them that rugby can be their future as well.
The clinic will run for another week before culminating in a mini tournament between the 3 schools at the same venue.
There's no doubt that Africa has some of the talented rugby players in the world, a continent that boasts the current rugby world champions, the Springboks. But what Bubesi Pride Foundation is trying to do is spread the rugby culture, empower and inspire the next generation of African rugby players. Mohamed Abubakar for CGTN, Nairobi, Kenya.
Now, in South Africa, an ancient martial art form is being used to fight xenophobia. Tensions between locals and immigrants sporadically flare up, and Hillbrow in the Johannesburg Central Business District is one of the hotspots. The International Judo Federation Refugee Program is now working with youth to diffuse tensions there. CGTN's Julie Shire filed this report.
Every week, children from different nationalities come together on the tatami and train side by side, where they share their migrant stories and love for judo.
The Judo for the World dojo is situated in the heart of Hillbrow, home to the most diverse migrant population on the African continent. Its Not in My School program has become a strong force against xenophobia.
The aim of this program is social cohesion. So the idea was to fight back the xenophobic attack with some social cohesion program, address xenophobia at its roots, because we believe that education starts in school.
The goal is for the kids to grow up in a safe environment and not have hatred towards each other because of nationality. If we can go and ask the kids who's here and who's not there, they'll tell you Portugal is here, Zimbabwe is here, Malawi is here, South Africa is here, Botswana and Lesotho. So we have accomplished a lot.
The program teaches children about fighting fair, treating others with respect, acceptance and self-discipline.
They will learn fighting with rules, with the judo values, and after this we will work with talks. We will make children aware of what means being a migrant, what means being a refugee. We will finally join hands with the food experience, with food coming from a different country, because we believe that food can help to bridge divides.
Migrants are sometimes killed, displaced or forced to flee when tensions flare up with locals.
We're having a little bit stress about the xenophobic attack. But in Judo family, I've never seen that. We're working with South African, we're working with Malawian. In Judo family, there is no xenophobia.
Judo teaches us to work together and to accept each other's differences, and it teaches us to accept each other's beliefs and understand different people and different cultures.
South Africa has many deep-rooted socioeconomic challenges, which leads to migrants being targeted. It's hoped that this program will start to bring change and renewed respect for each other. Julie Shire, CGTN, Hillbrow, South Africa.
And finally, battle lines have been drawn as neighbors Uganda and Tanzania prepare to face off for a ticket to the first round of the Africa Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifying tournament. Only 2 of 14 teams from Africa will qualify for the tournament to be played in Costa Rica later this year. CGTN's Leon Senyange now reports.
A light workout for a big task ahead. Tanzania's under-20 side go through their paces in preparation for a match against Uganda. Both teams are vying to reach the Women's Under-20 World Cup.
Of course, Uganda is a difficult side. We need to work hard to beat them here on their ground.
Tanzania carries a 2-1 aggregate lead. The come from behind victory a week ago has driven some energy into Bakari Shime's side.
We both played well in the first game, but this is now different because we all want to progress.
Bakari admits he and his charges won't be letting their guard down against the team he is aware can cause as many threats going forward. The return leg is bound to be a hotly contested affair. Uganda desperately need to overturn the first leg deficit and will be banking on their informed striker Juliet Nalukenge to do the job. Nalukenge has scored 4 goals in the last 3 age category qualifying matches. Head coach Olivia Mbekeka hopes she can strike again but avoid conceding any goals.
Yes, we lost many chances that game in Tanzania, and we've worked on it to see that they score, the movements and the aggressiveness, like the speed when you get the ball, that is transition, and then when you defend.
The winner between Uganda and Tanzania will face either Sierra Leone or Senegal in the next round of qualification. There will be 2 more qualification rounds before the decision on which teams represent Africa at the World Cup. Leon Senyange, CGTN, Kampala, Uganda.
And that's all we have for you on this week's edition of Sports Scene. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember that you can send your feedback to the contacts which are on your screen now, and give us a follow on our digital media platforms. I'm Mahia Mutua. Thanks for watching. We leave you with emotional scenes as the world paid moving tributes to NBA legend Kobe Bryant, daughter Gianna, and 7 others who perished in a helicopter crash last weekend.